Australia will move to very high caseload settings to ensure the continuity of operations for critical industries. The announcement comes as the state's COVID-19 cases tipped as it approaches the peak next week.
Western Australia's Omicron wave is rising and reaping havoc on industries. To help continuity of critical operations, the state government has announced new isolation rules.
Businesses that have registered their critical workforce will have the option to implement these strict protocols for asymptomatic critical workers. Identified as close contacts,
asymptomatic close contacts must return daily negative rapid tests, wear a mask outside the home and isolate when not at work.
A critical worker is someone whose role cannot be undertaken at home and who performs a role that is essential to maintaining critical services and avoiding catastrophic losses.
These very high caseload rules are already in place for police and healthcare workers and are now expanding to construction, transport and schools. This year in WA, more than 17,000 students and 1,400 school staff have had to isolate.
To assist school staff with meeting the critical worker requirements, schools have already received more than 230,000 RATs for use by staff who've been identified as close contacts because they cannot be replaced with relief staff and who consent to return to work while they are asymptomatic.
The household contact rules mean someone living with a positive case will only have to quarantine for 7 days if they test negative by PCR on day 6 or via rapid test on day 7.
After you have recovered from COVID, you are exempt from being identified as a close contact and the required isolation for a period of 8 weeks since you have recovered from COVID symptoms.
On Wednesday, WA recorded 3,594 new infections, with the state on track to reach its peak on March 14, a peak that would see 10,000 daily infections and around 450 people in hospital. Currently in WA, there are 67 people in hospital, none in ICU. Holly Edward Smith, Sky News, Perth.